Heracles was born not just a man, but a storm made flesh. Son of Zeus, king of the gods, and Alcmene, a mortal queen, his birth alone enraged Hera, Zeus's jealous wife. She swore to destroy him. While still a baby, Heracles strangled 2 serpents Hera sent to his crib. But even the strength of a demigod couldn't protect him from her final curse. In a fit of divine madness, Hera clouded his mind and made him kill his wife Megara and their children. When the fog lifted and he saw the horror he'd caused, Heracles fell to his knees. To atone for the blood on his hands, he turned to the Oracle of Delphi, who delivered a single command: serve King Eurystheus and complete 12 impossible labors. Only then could his soul find peace. The first labor sent Heracles to the hills of Nemea to kill the monstrous lion that terrorized the land. Its golden fur could not be pierced by blade or arrow. Heracles cornered the beast in its cave and did the unthinkable. He threw aside his weapons and wrestled it bare-handed. The battle shook the earth. Heracles crushed the lion's throat and tore off its own claw to skin it. From that moment forward, he wore the impenetrable pelt as armor, a symbol that this was no ordinary man. Next, he journeyed to the swamps of Lerna to confront the Hydra, a serpent with 9 heads, one of which was immortal. Each time he cut one, 2 more grew in its place. Realizing brute strength wouldn't be enough, Heracles called on his nephew, Iolaus. As Heracles sliced, Iolaus cauterized the wounds with fire, preventing regeneration. When only the immortal head remained, Heracles crushed it beneath a massive rock and dipped his arrows in the creature's poisonous blood, arming himself with a new kind of weapon, death in every strike. His third task was one of speed and patience: to capture the Ceryneian hind, a sacred deer of Artemis with golden antlers and unmatched swiftness. Heracles pursued it for an entire year through forests, mountains, and rivers. He finally caught it while it slept, gently binding its legs without shedding a drop of blood. Even Artemis, angered at first, was moved by his respect and allowed him to carry the beast to Eurystheus. Fourth came the Erymanthian boar, a monstrous beast that ravaged the countryside. Heracles chased it through snow-covered mountains and wrestled it into submission with his bare hands. When he brought it back alive, Eurystheus was so terrified he hid inside a bronze jar, peeking out only to mark Heracles' success. The fifth labor seemed beneath him: clean the Augean stables. The task sounded simple until he saw them. The stables belonged to King Augeas and housed thousands of cattle. They hadn't been cleaned in over 30 years. The filth could drown a city. Rather than use muscle, Heracles used brilliance. He tore through the walls and diverted 2 mighty rivers to wash away decades of rot in a single afternoon. When Augeas refused to pay him for the miracle, Heracles returned later to wage war and make the king regret it. For the 6th labor, Heracles ventured into Arcadia, where man-eating Stymphalian birds with metal feathers hunted humans. The clang of their wings was deafening. Heracles couldn't see them through the thick swamp fog. With the help of Athena, he used a bronze rattle to startle them into flight and shot them down one by one with his poisonous arrows. Their bodies crashed into the swamp, the echo of their screeches fading into silence. The 7th labor tested his strength at sea. He traveled to Crete to capture the Cretan bull, a gift from Poseidon gone mad with rage. The beast breathed fire and trampled everything in its path. Heracles faced it head-on, dodging horns and flame, before pinning it with sheer power. He carried the bull back across the ocean, slung over his shoulders like a sack of grain. The 8th and 9th labors sent Heracles across distant lands. First to Thrace, where he tamed the man-eating mares of Diomedes by feeding them their own master. Then to the realm of the Amazons, where he sought the war belt of their queen, Hippolyta. What began as a peaceful exchange turned into battle after Hera spread rumors that Heracles was there to kidnap the queen. Surrounded, he fought fiercely and took the belt by force. Diplomacy was no longer an option for a man cursed by the gods. The final 3 labors pushed Heracles to the brink of myth and mortality. He sailed across oceans to steal the red cattle of Geryon, a 3-bodied giant. He faced and killed Geryon, then wrestled with Hera herself, who sent flies to scatter the herd. After that came the golden apples of the Hesperides, guarded by a 100-headed dragon. Heracles convinced Atlas, the titan who held up the sky, to retrieve them for him, briefly taking the weight of the heavens on his own shoulders. His final task was the most feared of all: descend into the Underworld and return alive with Cerberus, the 3-headed guardian of Hades' gates. Heracles wrestled the beast without sword or shield, dragging it into the light, his body torn, his will unbroken. 12 labors, 12 trials of body, mind, and soul. Heracles conquered monsters, gods, and death itself, not to prove he was powerful, but to atone for what could never be undone. He returned to the world not as a killer or a sinner, but as a hero, scarred, worshipped, and finally free. If this story moved you, give it a like. Follow me for more epic mythology, and tell me in the comments which labor would have broken you.